Oh, yeah. Great music on Star. That is Dave Dobbin. Welcome Home. Before that, we had a bit of Casting Crowns with Nobody. Speaking of Welcome Home, Kiwis, I was looking at the website of Barnabas Aid the other day, barnabasaid.org.nz, and a photo of some Kiwis at the airport welcoming home to New Zealand, some Iranian refugee family with these Welcome Home banner. And I tell you what, it just put a lump in my throat, just like that song Welcome Home from Dave Dobbin always does. And the reason these Kiwis were coming here, because Barnabas Aid has welcomed them to New Zealand with a new government initiative, a community organisation refugee sponsorship. And Steph Johnstone from Barnabas Aid today joins me to talk all about this. Hey, Steph.
Hey, kia ora.
Kia ora, good to see you.
Great song choice, by the way.
Yeah,
Love
I love that
that
song. I love that song. And I mean, for anyone who doesn't know the back history of that song, it is all about welcoming people to New Zealand who weren't originally from here. People like yourself, Steph.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome home. You've been
Oh,
here for a while.
I felt a good Kiwi welcome when I got here. Yeah.
That's good. So tell us about this family and just the background of. I know that you're quite excited about this.
Oh, I'm so excited. We actually just welcomed the second family on Sunday. I was at the airport about 2:30 in the morning to welcome an Afghan family, a Christian refugee family. So this is the second family that's here now, and just it's just an exhale, a sigh of relief, a massive emotional journey we've been on for the past few years, just trying to get them here. So yeah, when you play that song today, I'm like, yeah, it just hits right in the heart, because the welcome, when we welcome them, when they walk through the arrivals door, it was just, it was magic, and just such a God thing, to welcome them home. And this is their home now.
Yeah.
Coming from a place where they've been in limbo, for the past few years, and the Iranian family for the past 10 years have been looking for a home. And so, gosh, when they got here, it was just that welcome home. You're here now, and you can exhale. So
you've been working with these families sort of from a distance for quite a while, Steph.
Yeah, the pilot program started 3 years ago. So we signed up to be a community, an organization that sponsored these refugee families. The interesting thing about how we're doing is that Barnabas is one of the sponsors, but we're working with churches. And that's been so cool, because Barnabas, as we are a funding agency, will kind of get the funds to help them out. But then the churches are going to be on the ground welcoming them into the communities, into their church whānau. So it's pretty cool the way we're doing it, and different from the other organizations that are a part of it as well.
Yeah. So how does it sort of work in conjunction with the government?
Yeah. So it's a pilot program. I'm hoping that the government decides to do this as a full-time part of accepting refugees, because it gives us an opportunity to actually pull from our massive pool of refugees that we have around the world that Barnabas works with. So it's in addition to the refugee quota. So we take in as a country 1,500 refugees a year. This is an additional 150 families who have come under this CORES program.
Yeah.
So really cool to have an extra families coming into New Zealand. Yeah.
Now, also reading on your website, it said something about, of all the refugees in the world, only about 1% are welcome homed each year.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Oh, it's shocking. I think the UNHCR website, I just read it this morning, said by the end of 2023, there will be 117 million displaced peoples in the world from conflict, or for our families from religious persecution. And then, about 1% of those people actually find a place to come home to. So that, for me, right there is more and more of a reason for us to continue as a country to welcome these refugees home.
So these particular families, I know you can't give too much away. Where have they been living? They've been.
Yeah.
Have they been in limbo for quite a while?
Yeah. The first family has been in limbo for 10 years.
Wow.
They had to flee Iran because of religious persecution. They converted to Christianity, and their lives were in danger. So they had no other choice but to leave. And then the second family, they are Afghani. So when the Taliban took over, they had to flee their home as well. And again, for this particular family, the Afghan family, it was they converted to Christianity. So, in some of the Muslim cultures, if you convert to Christianity, it's it's a means for death, really, or just ostracized by your family. So there's a single mom and her 2 babies.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Now they're here in New Zealand. What sort of happens for them now?
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying before. You know, we're working with churches, and so the 2 churches that we're partnering with will come alongside them. This is how, and this is why I think this is great for our government too, is because the churches and Barnabas take on the responsibility. So whereas refugees would normally go through the Mangere Refugee Center and then be put into a community where they're typically quite alone or don't have many people around them supporting them. This puts us in the position where instead of going to the refugee center, they go straight into the community, straight into the church family, and can start living their life straight away. And on top of that, they have this people around them to embrace them. I mean, when I got here, it was the same for me. I had a community that came around me instantly, and that was a God thing for real. And it made such a difference to that first year here to have people come alongside me and just walk me through even the smallest things, like where to buy groceries at or where to buy a new pair of pants at or something like that. It was like, where do I even go? Everything was so foreign. And for these families, so their English is decent, but they still have that language barrier as well. So, yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. So are you hoping to have more families coming through?
Well, the program's ended, the pilot program, and so the government has a big decision to make whether or not to continue it. I think it's been fairly successful. I mean, there's bumps along the way, of course, because it was a new program for us, a pilot program. But I think that if the opportunity arises, then absolutely, we'll connect with more churches, because we didn't have a problem getting churches engaged. I mean, we had so many churches that wanted to welcome families in, and
oh, that's
cool.
Yeah. So you just put the word out and said, we're bringing in these 2 refugee families. Who's interested in supporting them, walking alongside them?
Yeah. And we had so many people. We had to say no to a lot of churches.
I really feel like the refugee quota in New Zealand could be lifted when you hear stories like that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother radio show.
Yeah.
But this is a good step in the right direction, I think, for us. Plus, it gives us the opportunity to. So with the normal refugee quota, the UNHCR decides who comes into the country, and with that, a lot of times there's not many Christians that come in.
Okay.
Especially when they're pulling from refugee camps, because Christians aren't safe there, so they don't go to refugee camps.
Oh, wow.
So that's
where do they go then?
Well, they'll find churches to stay with, or they'll have to try to find a place to live, or they can't go into.
I didn't know that they weren't safe in a refugee camp.
Yeah, they're not at all. Because of the conversion to Christianity, they're targeted again in these refugee camps. So with that, when the UNHCR picks families to come, they pull from these. I mean, that's like a obvious place to pull from these refugee camps, but actually for Christians, we've seen, and this is something that I've been kind of talking to the government about since when I went to Syria in 2015. It was hey, look, there's a real gap of Christians coming into our country. What can we do? So this CORES program is kind of an answer to that, because we can. When I started it, I said, look, we are going to just bring Christians in, and the government was fine with that because there's the need there. Not that we don't want other nationalities and religions coming in. That's not it at all. But when there's this massive amount of people coming in and none of them are Christians, that's an issue.
So
we're trying to
you
face
started
that.
this program.
I didn't start it. No, I wish. I raised my hand as soon as they said yeah. So
very cool.
Yeah.
So for listeners wanting to find out more, and of course of the amazing work, we usually catch up with Steph about once a month. You can head along to the website barnabasaid.org.nz, barnabasaid.org.nz. Steph Johnstone, thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you can catch all our interviews on Star. See you next time.